going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we have some major Vikings injury news around TJ Hockenson and Andrew Van Ginkel, so stay tuned for that. And then also, Kevin O'Connell at his press conference before Vikings training camp, and he gave some insight on his plan with the quarterback one position heading into week one versus the New York Giants. But before we dive into that, guys, hey, if you guys want the Vikings to be healthy all season long, like today's video, do not jinx it, like it for good health, as, you know, one of the biggest reasons why the Vikings were not as successful as I thought this past season was obviously the injuries, and you could also throw turnovers in there as well. But hey, if you guys want the Vikings to be healthy all season long, just drop a like on today's show. All right, so the Vikings have an injury problem heading into training camp. Well, Kevin O'Connell gave great insight on the latest injury news around the Minnesota Vikings, and more specifically, star tight end TJ Hockenson. And this is what he had to say. He said TJ will begin training camp on the PUP list. He's well ahead of schedule from a standpoint of some of the benchmarks throughout his rehab. TJ, looking back at the offseason program, did not miss really a day outside of going to see his surgeon in Los Angeles. He was there every single day, and then that continued through the summer. So I think Tyler Williams and his staff feel really good about where he's at, but you know the significant injury that it was. And listen, TJ Hockenson, before he got hurt last season, he was great. Now, he did have some drop issues during the first half of the season. If you guys have tuned in to our watch parties here at Chat Sports, I was very critical of TJ Hockenson and his drops, but he really shored that up after the Kansas City Chiefs game, and he was just on the verge of being a 100 reception, 1,000-yard player this past season. Ended up finding the end zone 5 times. I do wish the Vikings used him more as a red zone threat, as he is a big body. Just have him kind of play basketball and go post up, you know, a smaller linebacker, DB, and just give him a 50-50 chance. But hey, 10.1 yards per catch this past season, then also 64 yards per game. But, you know, when he inevitably will miss time at the beginning of the season, who will step up in his place? Now, I think as Vikings fans, we were sleeping on the fact that Josh Oliver could be a complete dark horse to get it done in the receiving category, as we are obviously know he is one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the National Football League. Actually, PFF graded him out as the best zone gap-blocking tight end in the league, so that was great news there. But then you got guys like Tunyon, Nick Muse, Johnny Munt, and maybe even a guy like N'Keal Harry. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays a lot of tight end for the Vikings at the beginning of the season with Hockenson out. We obviously know he's making that transition from wide receiver to tight end, and you know, with his big frame and just how his body type naturally is, I actually think the tight end position would suit him more. But don't sleep on Robert Tunyon. Now, this tweet was coming in from Alec Lewis during the Vikings minicamp session, and he said this: Robert Tunyon has looked great in minicamp, no hyperbole, catching everything. Snagged multiple passes in the red zone period today, outstretched arms, toe tapping in the corner of the end zone. Just impressive. Now, Tunyon, fun fact, he has actually played for every single NFC North team in his short career so far in the NFL. I think that's pretty interesting there. But if, Alec Lewis, who was there during all Vikings minicamp practices, the fact he was given this much praise to Tunyon, you know, it makes me sleep a little bit better at night, knowing that even if Hawk would have to miss time, we could have Josh Oliver, Tunyon, and N'Keal Harry man that tight end group for the first half of the season. But with Hawk going on the PUP list, it means he could return by week 7. The PUP list means he will not be able to practice with the Vikings up until week 6. So then he could resume, play here during week 7. So that would be great for the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, having an early bye week, I think, helps that case as well. He did tease at the idea that he could maybe return for the London game, but obviously with him going on the PUP list, that, takes that away. But we also got more injury news coming from the Vikings Twitter account, actually. The Vikings have made the following roster moves: placed tight end TJ Hockenson and Najee Thompson on the PUP list. We'll talk about Thompson here in a second as why that's disappointing. But also Dwayne McBride on the non-football injury list. So don't really think he would had a chance to make this roster. But now this Vikings running back room with no McBride, no Cam Akers, and maybe they try to bring somebody in before or during training camp. We'll have to see. But specifically on Najee Thompson here, I am overly excited to watch him play this season, and it is definitely disappointing that he will not be able to, play for the first 6 games. But I think just his overall special teams value, him as the gunner, like it was fun. Every special teams rep last year for the Vikes, like whether it was punt return, punt, like I thought he was great. He was fun to watch, was constantly making plays, and he was one of the best special teams player in college football coming out. And a big reason why he was made the Vikings 53-man roster was because of his special teams ability. So, that's just a random thought I had that I'm pumped up to watch him play. But also more news, it's sounding like Andrew Van Ginkel, some of the most beautiful hair in the National Football League. It sounds like he'll be ready for week 1. O'Connell hinted that he is ramping up for Vikings training camp, so hopefully he can get out there, get reps with Brian Flores' exotic defense. As why I love this signing so much is this was a perfect scheme fit with what Flo likes to do. He's one of the most versatile football players in the NFL. Like, he can drop back in the coverage, cover linebackers pretty well. He's great off the edge as a blitzer, and also he is fantastic in the run game as well. So that's great news there for Van Ginkel. But hey, Vikings fans, training camp is here. It is underway right now. We'll have more content around training camp coming out in the next couple of days as media reports Wednesday. So we'll see the clips. We'll see, hopefully, the J.J. McCarthy viral clips there. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Don't miss out on a thing. I promise you I would do my best to keep you guys up to date with the latest round of the Minnesota Vikings. And also coming up in just a second, Kevin O'Connell leaks who he thinks will be quarterback 1 versus the New York Giants. But hey, first off, I do want to give you guys a huge shout out about our today's sponsor, and that is Game Time. Game Time is the best ticket purchasing app out there. And if you guys use promo code ChatSports on your first purchase, you guys will receive $20 off. That is terms apply, promo code ChatSports, and you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. And hey, if you guys want to go see a Minnesota Twins game this summer, Game Time is the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Now pick any specific game or matchup that you would love to attend, and you guys will be able to get a great deal if you guys use the Game Time app. Even if you guys want to go see a concert, Future is coming to Minneapolis here soon. Whatever it may be, go see a golf event, go see some stand-up comedy, but anything that requires buying a ticket, use Game Time, download the app, create an account, and use promo code ChatSports. We'll hook you guys up with $20 off. Now download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code ChatSports, and you guys will get hooked up with $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll put that link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. But take advantage. It's a great deal. And shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. All right, let's talk about what Kevin O'Connell, as he said about the quarterback battle heading into training camp. And, this first quote was very interesting. He said, I have no preconceived preset depth chart in my mind beyond Sam is the number 1 quarterback. He's taken the most reps with the starters. Sam had a great spring. JJ came in here after being drafted and had a really productive spring as well. Really, my message to those guys is that I really want a competitive situation. Now, this is a take that I was just completely wrong about. I thought there was no chance J.J. McCarthy starts week 1 against the New York Giants. I actually think there's a greater chance than I originally thought. Right now, I'd probably go 80-20 in favor of Sam Darnold, but let's just say J.J. goes out there, he looks the part during training camp, and he is by far the better quarterback, and the Vikings trot out Sam Darnold week 1. The other players on the team would be like, hey, I understand J.J. is just 21 years old, but he gives us a better chance to win right now. Why would we not roll with the young guy in comparison going with Sam Darnold? Because those guys would be saying, we already know who Sam Darnold is. Let's take a chance on JJ, get that the JJ connection maybe going here a lot sooner than we thought. But he also talked about how the reps will shake out, which I thought was very interesting as well. He said, Sam will, obviously be, taking a majority of his reps with the first group. But I think you will see JJ maybe get some as well. And, personally, I cannot wait to see the first viral clip of J.J. McCarthy. Maybe it's a little play action. I don't know what it could be. But when J.J. finds Justin Jefferson for his first pass. It is going to go crazy. Unfortunately, we did not get that clip during minicamp or the OTAs period, so hopefully we'll finally get it during Vikings training camp. Hey, Alec Lewis, Will Regatz, any of the guys that are going to be at Vikings training camp, please tweet those videos out because I cannot wait to watch them and just to see that first, clip of JJ finding JJ. It is going to move mountains, for Vikings fans. But Kevin O'Connell also talked about JJ McCarthy. He said, I will not allow any factors outside of what's best for JJ and what's best to help the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I love this personally because, I think, as fans, we are not going to be patient. Like, it's just going to be natural. Like, the first game where Sam Darnold has 3 picks and the Vikings lose and he throws for 150 yards, like, I'm sure I'm going to be pounding the table saying, we need JJ McCarthy out there. But I like the process that Kevin O'Connell is using. We're going to take our time with JJ McCarthy. He also hinted that he is on his own developmental, plan instead of it being like, hey, we're just going to figure out who's the better quarterback right now. It's going to be more in terms of when JJ is ready, he will play instead of like, oh, JJ is better than Darnold. Now we're just going to throw him in. And plus, Kevin O'Connell, he talked about him being a former quarterback, him, knowing the ins and outs of the NFL and what will, specifically help a QB. He hinted at that as another big reason why he thinks, JJ is on his own timeline. So I love the way he's been talking about this quarterback battle, and I just can't wait for this to heat up during training camp. But hey, Wes, you guys, pick a quarterback one for me. If you're Kevin O'Connell, what's your decision week 1 versus the New York Giants? Give me an SD for Sam Darnold or give me a JJ for JJ McCarthy. Also, if you guys want more Vikings training camp news, rumors, whatever it may be on your Twitter timeline, give me a follow over here at Pat Sieps is the Twitter handle. And hey, if you guys do so, I'll give you guys a follow back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See you guys next time. SKOL Vikes.